there's been trade rumors about Zach, about DeMar. And then today you get a rumor, Goose, that the Bulls aren't going to pull the trigger on anything. And my question to you as a fan of somebody, you watch every game, you're invested into the team. We do this podcast. Can you come up and without flying off the handle and us doing our typical bitching, can you come up with a logical reason why you would break up the, I guess what you've been looking for, continuity between what's working right now and then adding back in Zach, who clearly wasn't working? He looked lost out there.
You can't say that it didn't work. Obviously, we got 2 games against Charlotte for him to kind of start his comeback. So the win-loss swing with Zach back on the team is a little misleading because the caliber of competition that we were playing wasn't really that great. So win-loss, it still looked good, and he had at least one game in there that stood out where it was like, all right, dude,
he's back or whatever.
Contribute to the team.
Right.
He had everybody singing his praises and like, no, we're not trading, dude. We're going, Bulls are back, full steam ahead, and whatever. I don't feel that way, obviously, but we know how this front office is. For the part of our lives that has mattered, this team has been so content being mediocre. Even when they had the league's youngest MVP, they didn't go all in.
I know, dude.
They were content with Keith Bogans in their starting lineup.
That year they had all that bullshit too, like walk down memory lane 2011 when they talked about fucking OJ Mayo, those rumors and pairing him and Rose next to each other. Man, that was something. But we ended up getting Rip Hamilton on a small deal.
That masked man provided some entertainment.
Yeah, he did. Remember when Wade fucking pushed him into the stands? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I'll tell you that. You can't bring him back in, Goose. I mean,
but you have to. You pay him $40 million.
He
makes like 33% of the team's entire salary.
Yes, I know, man. And again, I don't.
So with that being said, because we wanted to segue into this anyway,
right?
Are you taking just expiring salary? Would you take Mike Richards and Gordon Hayward for Zach LaVine just to not have to put him back on the floor?
Yeah. I'm chasing my picks, dude. Look at where we're in hell. We're in hell.
So, but getting rid of him, as we've seen, isn't necessarily going to make the team worse. Getting rid of him could actually, as oddly as it is,
fire sailing
make the team. But we're fire sailing.
Right.
They're just trying to trade Zach LaVine. That's all they've been doing.
Yeah, no, I know.
And unfortunately, they have not played bad enough outside of last night in that performance to really make you feel as a fan that this front office is finally going to be like, we're done with continuity.
You're right. I got to stop putting my own perspective into it and say what the team's actually going to do.
What the team is probably actually going to do is trade Zach LaVine or nothing. Me and you would trade DeMar. We'd trade Caruso. We'd trade Andre Drummond. We would recoup and see that, okay, it's awesome. Well, we've seen development and progress from Ayo, from Kobe, from Pat to a lesser degree, which is somewhat okay because he's going.
Shit, even Julian Phillips.
So, but you see that, and maybe they're smart enough to see what we see. They said they acknowledged it earlier in the season when we were legitimately struggling, but maybe that still was just get rid of Zach and improve the roster and go from there. But they have to know that this dance with DeMar is about done. There's no way you're going to pay that dude $25 million.
You can't. No, this is it. And I'll tell you what, they do. This is the thing that they've said, and this is something that kind of creeped into my mind as you were just talking right there. But remember the whole making the Bulls a player-friendly team and making them great again and all that kind of shit, or whatever they said, making them cool again or whatever.
Yeah, we're going to go cool. We're not going to use that other guy's slogan and put it with the Bulls.
Whose slogan is that?
Make them great again.
Oh shit! You see, I don't fucking do the politics.
I don't do the politics either, but that I've seen that one on enough hats.
Yeah, I'm sure. I actually have too, but I didn't even fucking. That was unintentional, completely. They're all crooks. Vote Buzz. But anyway,
it'll be the first time I've ever voted. I will vote Buzz.
Fuck yeah, dude. But where I'm at with it now is they had the rumor trade with Detroit, okay, and then and I can't remember who the reporting was last week was so fucking nuts for me.
It was Bogdanovich.
Yeah, and like maybe Isaiah Stewart or something was in there, and for like Zach and Carter.
You could get Joe Harris is expiring.
Yeah, Joe Harris was in there.
So it would have been expirings and an upgrade in a sense, and somebody that could contribute to your team and
in a need that you have, kind of a big body that can stretch floor and hit the three. If you're trying to compete, I mean, it's not going to be a needle mover, but it's going to look better out on the court.
I mean, it's more of a needle mover than $40 million sitting on your bench and not playing.
That's very true. So, like, when I saw that trade come across, then people had said, like that stupid diehard Chicago Bulls fan page on Twitter and Facebook that makes up all the shit. Like, oh, the proposed rumor is fucking Killian Hayes or Osir or Amen Thompson or whatever the kid that one. Osor over there, yeah, or Jaden Ivey, or who else was in there?
See, and I feel like Jaden Ivey, of all of their blue chip prospects, is the one that would potentially be available in a deal with them.
They said no.
The report, but
I'm telling you what, if you tell me right now, it's Bogdanovich, fuck Joe Harris. I mean, I'll take him. Don't get me wrong, but Bogdanovich and Ivey. I'm doing that 9 times in a row. I mean,
and for both sides, you kind of have to think that would be the case because you can't pay Ivy and take on LaVine. Like you take on Zach LaVine, you're ruining Ivy's career.
Why is he going to sit behind him? Ivy needs the ball in his hand in development. He doesn't need to be splitting time. He's got that talent.
I guess you could say the same thing about him coming here and being behind Kobe.
Kobe's a point guard. Look what he's doing. He's running. You just said he's elevating people.
He's elevating people with his leadership. He almost had a 35-point triple-double tonight. I know, but I'm still tentative to give the full. He's a point guard.
Is it because of the scoring prowess behind it and how badly they need it?
I mean,
is that why you don't want to call him point guard?
It's just he's a great initiator. I'll leave it.
No, that's fair.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. I get it.
But when it comes to having another super ball dominant guy, I guess he is coexisting with DeMar right now.
Yeah. It's about learning how to play together, man, and going off of people's strengths. I mean, that's the thing here. And if Kobe is really blossoming into a leader role, and like I said, he gushes about his teammates all the time. He's a fucking constant professional. But again, like you said, he's making people better around him. Maybe you're kind of seeing like the rebirth of his career to a certain extent. And I know that he's still young in his career, but there's a lot of people ready to ship him out last year. We were like one of the only shows like, damn, what do we do? Because you got Io, you got Kobe, but I like Kobe, man. Kobe could shoot the rock. Kobe could fucking score. He's a microwave. He gets hot instantly. And then it went away. And then now you literally put the balls in his hand and you're like, whoa, we're talking about an award.
You put the what in his hand?
The ball. Did I say balls? Yeah, I did, dude. That's all right. Hey, I don't judge. People do what they do, and that's fine. I'm not paying their bills. They do what they need to do. But he puts the ball in his hand. He becomes what people are calling an all-star, or at least on the brink of being one. I mean, listen, he might win a major NBA award this year if he keeps this up.
He should. I mean, unfortunately, the Bulls' mediocrity might keep that from him. But his story, his recognition in the league has definitely spread far and wide.
I mean, if the Bulls are 2 games under 500, that kid should be winning that award. I'm serious. I mean, they're 3 games under 500 right now at 23-26.
If the Bulls do what we want them to do and are hard sellers, does that impact his chances in a negative way to get that award?
You know what?
Because then he gets more opportunity to just stat pad.
Yeah, but he's kind of got all the opportunity now, and it's on a competitive team that he literally came in and took over with question marks about which veteran is.
So the success with the points and the performances is more important, you think, than more freedom? Yeah,
I think so. I think you're probably right. Yeah, I think that would probably be what gets him it. But back to Zach, the salary dump trade with a protected first-round pick, are you in on that or no?
Given the current state of affairs, if they were having a fire sale, I would say yes. If they're sticking to this team and they plan on paying DeMar, which I guess I don't know how that works because you go into the tax pretty far then. And maybe that's why they're feeling the pressure to trade Zach for just dead cap, because then they can actually extend DeMar, which I don't want to see either.
But let me ask you this. I mean, if they give the keys, and I don't want to see that either, Goose, but think about this for a moment. Like, if you're going to give the backcourt keys to Kobe and Io and until whatever happens, and you bring in a vet, you start trying to add young talent, maybe you move Vooch, get into free agency, add some younger guys, see what happens. Because you got, like you said, you got kind of a little core there. They're not a great core. They're going to be struggle, but having a vet would be all right, right?
I'd like to get rid of everybody, and I'd like to have Kuminga where Julian Phillips would be if you don't get a Kuminga while you're doing your fire sale. But Kobe, Io, Kuminga, Pat, and Vooch until you can get rid of him is kind of the like a squad that I'd like.
That's like I agree with you. He's the most likely one to. Well, actually, you know what? Not anymore. He's not the most likely one to stay anymore because we can't move Zach.
I think in these next 8 days that phone is going to start heating up for Zach. The shit is hitting the fan in Lakerland, and I don't think Murray is necessarily the answer for them. The Lakers aren't a bad defensive team. They have Anthony Davis and they have Vando.
Perimeter defense, LeBron don't move. Austin Reeves would get cooked by anybody.
Austin Reeves doesn't really move, and D'Lo doesn't really move. But LeBron James is also their best three-point shooter right now outside of Reeves. And Zach LaVine can shoot three-pointers. He holds records for three-pointers. And if Zach LaVine can just be a catch-and-shoot guy and doesn't have to facilitate your offense for you, that's when Zach LaVine's probably at his best. Anyway.
I mean, that could be a rebirth, like you said earlier in the year. That could be a rebirth for his career, too. But, I mean, that trade looks wildly different now with the Lakers sliding. That looks wildly different because I'm not just taking bullshit salary from the Lakers.
Well, as much as I don't want to see that happen like we just covered for the last 5 minutes, moving Zach for nothing is almost better than doing nothing at this point because he is dead weight. And at least you go into the offseason and you can use that money to, even if it is to retain DeMar, which I don't want to see happen at 20+ mil, because we're seeing with Vooch how that works when guys get to that stage of their career, even though DeMar's had extreme success here to the point where you'd question that this is the best stretch of basketball that he's played in his career. I still don't think that that's the right move. But even if freeing up that cap space is what that results in, you still did positive things instead of bringing a guy back who's kind of clearly proven doesn't fit with what you're trying to do, and it's just mutually beneficial for both sides for him to go somewhere else.